Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, November 12th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Today we celebrate two different feasts. First, in Freiburg, Germany, we have Our Lady of the Tower. I'm not even going to attempt that in German. Well, this shrine was built on the spot where an image of Our Lady had been found. But we also celebrate in 1863 in Turin, Italy, Our Lady of the Tower Secret, Nostra Signora del Segreto della Torretta. The shrine was built 1 cent at a time, starting with 8 cents, by Saint John Bosco. Literally, he went to the architect and said, I need you to start designing a church. Here's 8 cents. So that's an odd name, though. Why the Tower Secret? Even in Italian, del Segreto della Torretta, literally the secret of the tower. Well, as one site puts it, the curious thing about Don Bosco's shrine to Our Lady, this is his shrine, and the one that should cause us to think, is the story of the right-hand tower. There's a large central dome, and on each side of it, a smaller one. On the top of the left-hand one is an angel holding a banner. The right-hand dome is built the same, but its decoration is an angel offering a crown to Our Lady. One who saw the original sketches of the church, drawn out in Don Bosco's own hand, saw on the right-hand tower a date, 19, and then blank blank, right? Indicating that at some time in this warring century, there would be a victory over evil to correspond with Lepanto. Because the other flag, we said it has a banner, right? That banner says Lepanto. Our Lady often tells her secrets to the saints, we know this, and apparently Don Bosco knew the name and the place, but he thought it better not to reveal what he knew. The Lady of the Tower Secret would take care of it in time, and the left-handed angel bearing a banner labeled Lepanto would have a counterpart, if mankind is found worthy. For today's reading from True Devotion to Mary by St. Louis de Montfort, we're continuing with part 2 on the most excellent devotion to Our Blessed Lady, or consecration to Jesus through Mary. And we're talking about the second section, the motives for this consecration. And today we will start the 8th and final motive. And so we'll start with point 173, wherein he explains this last motive. Lastly, that which in some sense most persuasively engages us to this devotion to Our Lady is that it is an admirable means of persevering and being faithful in virtue. Whence comes it that the majority of the conversions of sinners are not durable? Meaning, why is it that when sinners convert, that they remain converted? Whence comes it that we relapse so easily into sin? Whence comes it that the greater part of the just, instead of advancing from virtue to virtue and acquiring new graces, often lose the little virtue and the little grace they have? This misfortune comes, as I have shown before, from the fact that man is at once so corrupt, so feeble, and so inconstant, and yet trusts to himself, leans on his own strength, and believes himself capable of guarding the treasures of his graces, of his virtues and merits. On the other hand, by this devotion we confide all that we possess to the Blessed Virgin, who is faithful. We take her for the universal depository of all our goods of nature and of grace. It is to her fidelity that we trust them. It is on her power that we lean. It is on her mercy and charity that we build, in order that she may preserve and augment our virtues and merits, in spite of the devil, the world, and the flesh, who put forth all their efforts to take them from us. We say to her, as a good child to his mother, and as a faithful servant to her mistress, Depositum custodi, meaning, my good mother and mistress, I acknowledge that up to this time I have, by your intercession, received more grace from God than I deserve, and my sad experience teaches me that I carry this treasure in a frail vessel, and that I am too weak and too miserable to keep it safely of myself. I beseech you, therefore, receive and trust all that I possess, and keep it for me by your fidelity and power. If you keep it for me, I shall lose nothing. If you hold me up, I shall not fail. If you protect me, I shall be sheltered from my enemies. You can read point 174. Listen to what Saint Bernard said in former times in order to encourage us to adopt this practice. And here we have this quote. When Mary holds you up, you will not fall. When she protects you, you need not fear. When she leads you, you will not tire yourself. When she is favorable to you, you will arrive at the harbor of safety. And then we have this lovely phrase in Latin, ipse tenente non corruis, ipsa propitia pervenis. St. Bonaventure seems to say the same thing in still more formal terms. The Blessed Virgin, he says, is not only retained in the plenitude of the saints, but she also retains and keeps the saints in their plenitude, so that it may not diminish. She hinders their virtues from being dissipated, their merits from withering, their graces from being lost, the devils from hurting them, and even our Lord from punishing them when they sin. So then we have here that Latin, Virgo non solum in plenitudine sanctorum detenetur, sed etiam in plenitudine sanctus detenit, ne plenio mirautur, detenit virtus, ne fugiant, detenit merita, non perieant, detenit gratias, non effluant, detenit demones, non noceant, detenit filium, non peccatores percutiat. Which just means the same thing we said, but in Latin, in case you are fluent in Latin.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our Marian podcast. As St. John Paul II teaches us, from Mary we learn to love Christ, her Son, the Son of God. Through her intercession, may we grow ever closer to Him. We encourage you to share this with a loved one or friend and help spread our devotion to Mary. Thank you, and God bless.